वाक्फडाचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। रागादिरोगान् सततानुषक्तान् अशेषकाय प्रसृतान् अशेषान् औत्सुक्यमोहारदिदान् जघान यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै। छात्राणां श्रेष्ठमित्राय भिषजां देशिकाय च कोल्हाट्कर नामधेयाय पुण्यश्लोकाय ते नमः। Respected Dilip Gadgil sir, Trilok sir, Dr. Vedhas ji, many other senior Vaidyas, scholars, students, and my dear friends, a very, very suprabhatam to all of you. This is my Guruji, Vaidya K. Raghavan Tirumipadu, and my salutations on his fond memory. I was lucky enough to have this honor of getting invited for this Punyatithi commemorative lecture on Kolhatkar sir. I have heard a lot about him from my friend Vaidya Nilesh years back when he came to Thrissur and stayed a few days in Sunetri. I was so curious to know that tradition, and I had gathered the basic information about his lineage of Vaidya, Ayurveda, and the works he was doing, and I was so fascinated. Luckily, I was asked to take a series of lecture on basic principles of Ayurveda when the COVID lockdown started by Ayurveda Vachana Samoha. So it went on, and in one of the earlier years, Nilesh actually invited me to come to Pune and to attend some of the programs of Kolhatkar Pratishthan, but I could not make it. But in last May, I was lucky enough to come to Pune and deliver one lecture in the banner of Ayurveda Vachana Samoha. Then I visited some places here, Punarvasu. I met Gadgil sir, visited his clinic. Then he showed me the Triskanta Kosha. Actually, it was a really energizing visit. And I wrote one article on my experiences with the Pune Vaidyas in Malayalam, in one of the Malayalam journals in which I am a columnist. That it was titled The Vaidyas of Pune. And then at that time I just met Vedhas ji, but I could not talk to him a lot. But yesterday, couple of times we had a long chat about the various things that are happening under Pratishthan. And I thought, okay, I am there where I am supposed to. So, expressing my happiness, my charitathyam, gratitude and everything to the organizers of this session, and bowing my head to the legendary memory of Vaidya Madhav Vasudev Kolhatkar ji, let me start with my session on eye diseases. I hope the screen is visible even in this light, isn't it? Yes. So eye disease, in general, it is supposed to be a specialty. No? So when we are talking to an assorted type of audience, a heterogeneous audience, I do not know how far I can do justice to a specialty topic. In recent years, there is an upsurge of Salakya practice in my home state, Kerala. Interestingly, we are not supposed to, or we are not allowed to, not supposed to, we are not allowed to practice the surgical procedures in Kerala legally. I think that became a blessing in disguise, because we were forced to practice the classical way of or the textual way of non-surgical school of netra chikitsa. Interestingly, we have many eye hospitals these days in Kerala, from very famous hospitals with some nearly 400 bed strength. I do not know whether you can imagine 300 plus IP strength in an Ayurvedic eye hospital, that is Sridhariyam, to maybe a 5-bedded hospital which started by a young Shalaki. To that extent, I think it has become popular in Kerala. That is why I am saying that it has become a blessing in disguise. Otherwise, obviously, this will be attached to some allopathic hospital with doing some minor surgical procedures and everything. And we will be forgetting what actually Ayurveda was conceptualizing about about netra, indriya, then its srotas and all these things. When I came to deliver a lecture on one of the very colorful Shalakya sessions in Pune, I had very strange experiences, because one of the Shalakis asked me whether tinnitus is explained in Ayurveda or not. He is actually an Ayurveda MS Shalakya. So things like that could have even happened if we were following that purely surgical school. Of course, they were expert surgeons. So with this background, I have not taken or included the sort of highly specialized areas of Shalakya Tantra, including the usage of modern technology in the investigative parts like the OCT or B scan type of things, but I have made it in such a way so that everybody should get something and somebody should get everything. Definitely take this as a baseline, the x-axis. Whatever is to be plotted on the y-axis, we will do on the discussion part. Right. So, netra chikitsa is supposed to be the celebrity, the star in Shalakya Tantra. The others are just some guest artists many a times. Karna roga chikitsa, they are just mentioned in 1 or 2 chapters, and most of them they will learn this from Vada chikitsa, do it as we do it in somewhere else, like that. Whereas he is the hero and heroine and everything of Shalakya Tantra, isn't it? This netra chikitsa. And it has got sophisticated, highly evolved kriyakramas. We find Anjana, then Tarpanam, many things. One point that we have to keep in our minds is that please do not generalize. There is a trend, okay, netra chikitsa means tarpana. And tarpana means jivandyadikritam. Actually, they are very specific in terms of their indications, their expected outcomes, everything. So the basic rules of Ayurveda, which may be starting from at least Dvidho Vakramaniyam, Ubakramyasya hi Dvitvad Dvidheyo Vakramo Mataha. Such basics are equally applicable as in Kaya Chikitsa or in any other branches of Ayurveda to Netra Chikitsa as well. But of course there are some specialities. Why do we have a branch called, here there is one say, why do we have a branch called Shalakya Tantra, which is other than Kaya Chikitsa, if it is so? There are some basic things which we will not discuss now. If required, we will discuss it later. Yeah, this is what I already mentioned. Netra Chikitsa may be considered as an extension of the basic principles. Yesterday also I had the privilege and luxury of giving a lecture here in the same auditorium. So then I told all these things, that it can be considered as maybe the second floor with a balcony. Not the second floor, a balcony on the second floor on the bungalow of Ayurveda. That is how I conceive it. There is a foundation, ground floor, first floor. We have basic principles, Sutrasthana, Sharira and Nidana. Then the second floor, Kaya Chikitsa, with many balconies, different tantras, maybe Shalakya Tantra, Shalya Tantra, Prasudi Tantra, Kaumara Bhaktya. So Netra Chikitsa is just a balcony on that second floor. So all the basic principles are applicable. And when we make a comparison, we can interestingly see that Netra Chikitsa has got very close relation with the Prana Chikitsa. It's interesting. Of course, Sthana Visheshena Bheshaja Visheshaha Paryeshidavyaha. That speciality is there, but still there are many things similar. The concept of Ashaya, Vrana Ashaya, the same way we will find something here in Netra Chikitsa also. We will come to it later. The role of or the importance of Abhikhada and Kshata type of things in the background of Netra Chikitsa can be seen in Vrana Chikitsa as well. There are many similarities in the management as well. And the concepts from Jwara Chikitsa, especially Shobha Chikitsa and Vada Vyati Chikitsa, are also very liberally used in the management of Netra Rogas. Yeah, I'll be just, I will not take you through the text too much, but I think at least something has to be reminded of, no? So that is why I am putting all these things here. Tatra avinam sasamrambha ashru kanduvadehavat gurushatodar agadhir justam javyakta lakshanaihi sashulam vatma kosheshu shuka purnabhamevacha vihanyamanam rupeva kriya swakshi yatha pura drishtuveva dhiman buddheda doshenadhi. So there are some basic features which shows that, okay, this eye, this netra is getting targeted and occupied by a dushta dosha. So maybe a purva rupa type of thing or something like that. These are all relevant also. I have tried to put it in English, even though my language may not be that good. I have made some attempt. Avila may be a dirty or a turbid appearance. Many of these things are to be experienced, at least in the clinics, not in the text. Sasambrambha means swollen and agitated, all these things. I am not going to read all these things. Then there are some common causes what is written in the text can be taken as an example. Udaharana matram tu buddhimadam. There is a concept of upalakshana. These things can be extended to what is not told. Ushnabhidaptasya jalapraveshad need not be literally the same thing. After sitting walking long time in the sunshine, bright sunshine, hot sun, getting immediately into an air conditioned room where the temperature is set in 18 or 19 is equally bad as Ushnabhidaptasya jalapraveshad. Then Durekshanadu. Literally it means looking far away. Many other things may be happening in our present life. So take it as Upalakshanas. Swapna Viparyayad. The other day I was mentioning this. However advanced we are, technically, technologically, comfort wise, our system has not changed much. The body is very old fashioned one. So what happens is, this body tends to follow some natural laws, and that is otherwise beautifully explained as Agni Shomiyam. Body prefers to follow that old Agni Shomiyam. The sun and moon dance, or the pendulum, it swings from the sun to the moon and again to the sun and moon. So body is designed by default in such a way so as to get ready for a sleep by sunsets and to get up by the sunrises. That is how it is designed. So Swapna Viparya means a distortion in these practices. You may be working for your American boss in the American time and sleeping all through the day, sometimes getting up, and the terminology has already changed. Breakfast and lunch together became a brunch, and 2 times meal we changed to split into 3 for sake of convenience. So we used one meal and the second meal split into 2. But later the concept of food got completely damaged and concept of nutrition came. So we started thinking about kilocalories, calories, etc. and fat, micronutrients, carbohydrate, protein. So many other things came, supplements came, meals were again extended from morning onwards till midnight. At any time we will eat. That has become the regular practice. So all these things are considered as viparya, a deviation from what is to be done originally, ideally. Prasakta samrodhana kopa shoga klesha abhikhadada adhimaidhunacha. Many things. The physical aspects, emotional aspects, prajna, consciousness, Shukta Aranadamla, the dietary components, indulgences, Svedadadho, Dhumanishevanad, Shabder Vikhadad Vegadharanam, specifically Chaddi, Bashpagrahad, Vegadharanam again, Sukshma Nirikshanacha. Previously, at least we used to tell that, see, mobile phone is not meant for kids. But after the online classes started, they took all the privileges of mobile phones are not meant for elderly. Equation changed, isn't it? The play school classes were running online. Plays were online, isn't it? If you ask somebody, do you play? Yes. What play? Football. You're playing football and you look so puffy and stula. Yes, I play it on screen. I have my own team. Isn't it? So that is the way things has changed. Viparya. So all these things, Sukshma Nirikshanam, Bhasura Nirikshanam, many things are there which are relevant but written in Sanskrit. Pratada Bhasura Darshanam, Surya Avalokanam, then other Vyadhis, they are also causes, isn't it? The eye manifestations of many other Kaya Chikilsa, Kaya Vyadhis, Sharira Vyadhis, many things. It is increasing actually in relation to the Prameha, even Aushadhas. Many Aushadhas are causing eye diseases, many things, which we will come to later. These are just reminders, some preventive aspects, some prophylactic aspects. Chakshurakshayam sarvagalam manushyer yatna kartavyaha. All these things are you are knowing. Tribhala dhirasrudir visuddhihi. Many things. Sarvadaja nisheveda swastho vinayana priyaha purana eva godhuma etc. etc. Many things. Rakta. Coming to the understanding of netra rogas, Rakta is a principal component. Rakta is not a dosha. But still, we will find many Raktaja Vyadhis in Netra Chikitsa. If you look at the way in which Netra Vyadhis are enumerated, Rakta is the owner of the maximum number of Netra rogas. Than Vadiga, Paitiga or Kabhaja, Raktaja Vyadhis are the maximum. So that just shows at least a situation wherein the Rakta is given the highest priority. What could be the reason? Rakta is a peculiar type of dhatu, no? Rakta is, when compared with other dhadus, Rakta is having a very special nature. That is Anushna Sita. All other dhadus, I think, they are, we have to categorize them in some headline. This is Ushna, this is Sita or whatever it is. But this is Anushna Sitam. It is a situation where Agni is kept in water. Again the story of Agni Shomeyam. Wherever there is Agni in the Sharira, it is well under control of Jala, isn't it? Wherever there is Agni, you can't think about Agni kept uncontrolled in a living system. It's quite dangerous, wherever it is. So coming to the Netrendriyam also, it is in Rakta itself, it is Pitta impregnated into the Rasa, isn't it? Well jacketed, well covered by Rasa. In the Netra, you can't expect the Agni to perform as it is performing in the Grahani. Panjabhudatmagatvevi yat taijasa gunodayal tyakta dravatvam. That Pitta you cannot expect in Tvak or in Hridaya or in Netra, anywhere else. It is a speciality area, Grahani. Even there, it is well under controlled by a pot of Kledaka Kabha on the top. So in Netra, there is an element of representation of Pitta, Alojaka Pitta, which is not supposed to be Panjabhudatmagatvevi yat taijasa gunodayal tyakta dravam. It is well under the control of Tarpaka Kabha. And that makes all these areas where this sort of a Pitta Agni Soma component is working, Rakta has got a say in it. Rakta has got a say. That is very important. So in Netra also the same thing is happening. It is a one area where Rakta is so crucial, and Rakta can, I am coming to it. See, functionally it decides the status of the organ, whether to work or not. That is the importance of Rakta. So the balance of Kapha and Pitta in Rakta, tad Pitta /malai prayo dushyate. Actually they are opposite components, Pitta and the Kapha, But as far as Rakta is concerned, tadu pitta shleshmalaihi prayo dushyate. You can't find any other dhatu like that. So coming to the netra, it decides functionally the status of that indriya. It is not so in any other indriya. And that peculiarity, that means it is Agni Shomam. It can accommodate any amount of doshas which can primarily cause Abhishyanda. Abhishyanda means a state. Abhishyanda means a disease in netra vyadhi. That is another thing. It is a state where there is a morbid interaction between Ushna and Snigdha. Isn't it? Abhishyanda is a morbid state where Ushna and Snigdha gunas are interacting against the system. So, any amount of Abhishyanda kara doshas can be accommodated in rectum. Tat pitta shleshmalaihi prayo dushyate. So that way also, in one line we will find that prayena sarve nayanavayastu bhavanti abhishyanda nimitta mula. So an indriya which is under the control of Rakta, which can generate abhishyanda, where Agni and Soma is coexisting, obviously gains dominance, some priority while we are learning the netra rogas. Got the point, no? Yes. Now, in this presentation, I am not going to explain all the vikaras explained by name in the Samhitas. I am trying to give you some sort of a some idea where even a general practitioner can make out some decision when a netra roga or netra rogi approaches him or her seeking a baseline management. So you see, in the classical way of explanation, netra rogas are seen explained in based on the avayava. Vatma, Sandhi, Sita, Krishna, like that, isn't it? We have got that roga adhishtanas. So in any case, we should have an idea about which is the adhisthana of a roga. Each adhisthana is unique because there is a sthani dosha in it. This adhisthana is functional. So in an adhisthana, there will be a sthani dosha. And in every adhisthana, the vyadhi dravyas, dusha visheshas, they are unique. Is it clear? There will be a set of vyadhi dravyas in each adhisthana which can be unique. So find the adhisthana. You should have an understanding about the sthani dosha and look at the status of the sthani dosha in the given case. Then find the vikriti in terms of the dusha visheshas or the dravya visheshas involved. These are the adhishtanas. Everyone knows. I am not going to the details. These explanations are worth remembering at this point of time. Palam bhuvo, agnido raktam, vadat krishnam, sidam jalad, agasad ashrumargascha, jayande netra dukkute. Is it clear? No? It's trying to bring the concept of Panchabhautikata into the framework of structural netra. Then Vakbhada makes a very beautiful, this is there in the Sushruta also, but in a different style. This seems to be very beautifully presented. Sarvaroga nidanoktai rahitaihi, nimittakaranasa. Sarvaroga nidanoktai rahitaihi, kupitaha malaha, achakshushyehi visheshena. Achakshushyata gives the Samuthana Vishesham. Yesterday we were discussing about that point. Tasmad Vigara Prakriti Adhisthana Andaranicha Buddhva Hetu Visheshamscha Shikram Guryadupakramam. So three things. Here we have Tasmad Vigati, that is what we were explaining in the previous slide. What is the Adhisthana, what is the Sthani Dosha, all these things. Lakshanas, Samprapti. Adhishthanandaranicha Bhuktva Hetu Visheshamscha. So Sarvaroga Nidanoktahi Ahitaihi. All the Nidanas listed in the Sarvaroga Nidana Adhyaya need not be equally applicable in all netra rogas. There should be some speciality, and that speciality makes them under the badge Achakshushya. This is Achakshushya. So Achakshushya Visheshena Prayah Pittanusarina. Pittanusarita, that shows the inclination. Among the Tridoshas, Pitta has gotten say, an upper hand as far as its diseases are concerned. Prayah Pittanusarina Sirabhirurdhvam Prasritaha. Sirabhihi Urdhvam Prasritaha Malaha. Urdhvam Prasritaha, spread upward. From where? When we say that upward, there should be again an x-axis, isn't it? From where? From Koshta. From the basic sthana. So from the Koshta, spread upward, Sirabhirurdhvam Prasruta, Sira. The Siras which are going towards the Jatrurdhva in general, and specifically to the netra. Netravayavam ashritaha, that avayava vatma sandhim sitam krishnam drishtim va sarvam akshiva rogan kuryuhu. Again, this is the very basic principle. Dosha dushta rasair dhadun dushayanti ubhaye malan adhodve sapta shirasi ghani sveda vahanicha mala malayanani syuryathassunteshwado gada. The same thing brought to the context of netra chikitsa. So this is very important, because even though you are a qualified shalagi, don't forget this. Sirabhir urdhvam prasadaha malaha. So if you have to do something positively in the netra, you should have done something positively in the Moolasthana. Without controlling the Vayu in the Pakvashaya, you cannot treat Vadahatam. Saying that I am a Shalagi, I don't mind Apanasthana. You can't work. Right? Then, this is again a modified version, not a textual version. Vatma is generally Bhumi, Jala, Vayu predominant, taking all its aspects. Sandhis are Bhumi, Jala predominant. Shukra is Jala Bhumi, that means the Shukla Mandalam. Krishna Mandalam is Vayu, Agni predominant. Drishti is Agni, Vayu, Jala predominant. Sarvakshi is Panchalotika. Now, this is an attempt to enumerate and enlist what I have told earlier. Vatma, Sthani dosha is Vayu. Basically, it is about the movement. Basically. Vyabhadesastu bhuyasa. Others are equally there. But we are using some bhuyasa vyabhadeshasta nyaya. Sandhi. Generally, Pitta Kabha, but there may be case specific because there are multiple sandhis. Shukla Mandalam, Kabha. Krishna, Vada. Drishti, all the three. Sarvakshi, all the three. And the Vyadhi Dravyas in Vatma, Tvag, Rakta, Mamsa and Kleda. The Vyadhi Dravyas. Sandhi I have not listed because, as I mentioned, there are different types. When we specifically come to that point, we will discuss it. In Shukla Mandala, Tvak, Rakta and Asthi. In Krishna, Tvak and Rakta. Just listen, that's enough. Drishti, rasa, rakta, mamsa, medas, asthi, prana, mano, vahasrotas. Sarvakshi, tvaga, rasa, rakta, mamsa, medas, asthi, and the jatrurtha srotasas. Now, with this background, we will see something around the vatma rogas. Vatma rogas may be the most frequented presentation in a general practitioner, as far as a general practitioner is concerned. See, the diseases of the vatma, that also incorporates the diseases of the pakshma as well. And the sthani dosha, we saw that it is primarily vada. Primarily vada. Tvag, rakta, mamsa and kleda are the vyadhi dravyas. This is a huge list of diseases in the textbook. I am not going to it. The main signs and symptoms of pakshma vatma rogas will be daha, raga, paga, shobha related to pitta, then ushna ashru srava, puya yukta, pita srava. All these things are showing the pitta features in a vatma roga. In kabha, shobha, kandu, shita, shveta, pichila, snigdha, srava. These are the features of kabha, predominant features in vatma rogas. Coming to vada, ruk, raukshim, problems with mobility like nimesham, vadahatam, we are seeing that sort of things. Krichrata, sramsam sometimes, jihmada sometimes. And srava generally is not a big feature as far as the vatma rogas of vayu is concerned. Now, the pakshma mandala, which should be taken as an integral part of the examination of the vatma completely. We have to look for loss of lashes sometimes. There are conditions. Loss of lashes. And interestingly, pitta can be the major culprit behind the kandu. Generally we do not think that, isn't it? Kandu is generally a kabhaja symptom. But in vatma rogas, sometimes that is an exception. That is why I am highlighting it. When there is excessive pitta, immediately the kabha will become asthira because of the ushnada of pitta. And that will be presenting kabhaja symptoms initially. Then only it will present the pitta lakshanas. Karodi kandum daham ja pittam pakshmandam asridam pakshmanam sadanam chanu pakshmasadam vadanditam. There is an example. See, pakshmasadam starts the narration with karodi kandum daham ja pittam pakshmandam asridam. So that is sometimes it is misguiding. Immediately seeing that it is kandu, we will think that it is a kabhaja vyadi. It is not a kabhaja vyadi, but it is a kabhaja presentation provoked by pitta. Okay. Now, this kleda is very profusely present in vatma. Kleda. And the type of kleda will give you better understanding about the dosha behind. Similarity with vrana. It is the case with vrana as well. So a keen observation of the type of srava, kleda, whether it is pichila, any varna bheda, gandha bheda, all these things will be directly giving clues of dosha predominance. And this kleda is an indication of the kapha and pitta, or kapha or pitta situated in the recta. So more the gravity of kleda, you can presume that involvement of recta is becoming more. Similarly, the most common presentations in the vatma, see, pitaka and vrana. As I mentioned earlier, these are the most frequently presented symptoms, especially when with a general practitioner. I have a new pitaka on the late margin, or last 3 days, it's quite painful. Or it is there for last 2 months, it's not going. I consulted somebody else, they told me to open it. I don't want to, can we do something? These are the most frequently asked questions. So behind the pitaka and vrana, rakta, mamsa, tvak, pitta and kapha could be the culprit. These are the points which we have to consider. And there will be characteristic pain symptoms. Sometimes severe pain, sometimes burning pain, sometimes pain spreading over to the forehead and the one half of the head. That sort of things may be. Pitaka may be very small. And there can be grandhi, arshas and arbuda type of presentations. Laganam is a classical example. Lagana, which is a kahaja grandhi. See, here in this photograph, you are seeing Pakshma. Can you see it? I will show it. See this area where I am moving the cursor.
So use
it's
the
not
mouse.
there. Anyway, I think so. It is moving here. It's moving here, but it's not. No problem. I think you can see it. Somewhere here. So there is ulceration. There is ulceration, and that lashes are lost. See, this is another case again. There also the same thing is happening. Yes. Near that circle, it is there from this area. Okay, that ulceration and loss of this is a regrown, almost healed one after 10 days. This was the area where there were maximum loss, but it is almost cleared now. Anyway, here also you can find the loss of hair in this area and the pagam. This is another classical case of Pakshma Kobam. You see all the lid margin is crusted. See, it's clear now? Yes. This is one pitaka, most commonly presented one called Anjana pitaka, which is very painful also, very painful and warm to touch. The pain may spread even to the forehead and head. This is a pitaka with the shobham, which is very visible in that area. This is the laganam, the granthi. These are the most common things what we find in vatma rogas. Again, this is also a laganam here. Here you find shobham, pagam and loss of lashes. Here you don't find any lash, and you can find the puya shravam here, and the entire netra is clean. See, these are all features of that. Now, here in this picture you find there is total loss of lashes. No lash is left, and that lid margin is swollen as such. In that second picture, enlarged view, it is clearer. Here it is very difficult to make out. There are a lot of cremies in the base of these lashes, small lyses. is not very common these days, but it is there. This one you may be knowing, this is Vadahatam. You see it has fallen down, that ptosis type of drooping has happened completely. Now, the local status of Rakta should be assessed properly. I already mentioned many things about the importance of Rakta, and because the status of Rakta, how we can understand from the Kleda Pariksha, the Srava Pariksha, and also the type of appearances like Daham, Tamra Varnata, all these things will be giving you a clue about how far the Rakta is involved. And that will give you a good understanding about the Vikrita or the gravity of Vikriti that has taken place. And what should be the strategy accordingly. And the Lekhana, the technique, the minor procedure, what we are doing in Vatma is mainly some sort of a Shodhana Chikitsa for as far as the Rakta is concerned. I will have a short video which I will show later. Then these are the features which I have already explained. Rakta makes the lid color deep reddish and coppery. Now coming to the management of this, proper assessment of the dosha, Upashaya Pariksha is very important. Many times there may be confusing presentations, so watch carefully for the Upashaya. Then Vrana Chikitsa, which I already mentioned. Management plan should include the management of pain, management of the redness, which is of course quite scary as far as the individual is concerned, management of shobha, management of itching, and the misdirected lashes. They are very dangerous. The misdirected lashes may be touching the Krishna Mandalam frequently, causing additional vrana there. So they are also to be taken care of seriously. Then the Pakwa Pidaga. Pakwa Pidaga should be subjected to Bhedanam. So either you can use a surgical Bhedanam or an Aushadha Bhedanam with proper Lepanam and everything. And generally the management is based on the condition. Kshalanam is a general treatment. In most of the Vatma Rogas, Aushadha Siddha Kshalanam. Aschyodanam will reduce the feeling of gharshana, the sort of foreign body sensation, which is again a big issue. There may be powdery stuffs on the lashes that will be falling to the eye, and every time there will be itching or some foreign body sensation. Then Segam, Netra Segam. While doing Netra Segam, many things are to be taken care of. Ideally, the Segam should be done with closed lids. One of the most commonly committed mistake, doing Segam with the open eyes. That will cause some damage and the symptoms may aggravate. So ideally it should be done with the closed eyes, and the height from which the drava should fall, that should be maybe 1.5–2 inches, not more than that. It should not fall from very high. That will again cause severe pain symptoms and aggravation of the condition. Swedanam. Generally we think that netra is an area where Swedanam is contraindicated. But in many clinical situations, Swedanam is a must. Especially when there is Shobha in the Vatma, there is severe Kandu, foreign body sensation. Swedanam is the easiest one and the most effective one. Generally what we do is making a small pottery with the Amalaki Patram or Chincha Patram and a little bit of Haridra. Then boil it with the water or Tushodanam, Then take that pottery with a bearable warmth, maximum bearable warmth, give it to the patient himself, No, we are not supposed to try because we will definitely cause some damage. Because it is his bearable limit, then do vatma svedana. That will immediately relieve these sort of issues. Pain also. It has got excellent pain relieving capacity. And many times, red streaks coming on the verge of this vatma with minor rakta involvement, that can be treated effectively with the svedana. Because the rakta accumulated in that area can be dispersed easily with this svedana. So vatma svedanam is a effective, simple treatment. Then pindi kavalika type of the bandaging things, they are also very important as far as the vatma rogas are concerned, especially in case of pain symptoms, because that gives a medicated complete rest to that area, which is essential. Lekhanam, we will come to it. Kuttanam is a specific procedure where the lid margin will be punctured with a sharp needle. These are exceptional cases. So with this type of approach, that means I am not going to any textual details about what is Vadahatam or what is Nimesham, what is Kruchroenmelam. A general approach where a general practitioner can manage a basic netra vyadhi or vatma vyadhi is explained. In the same way we will find the remaining sthanas. Diseases of the Sandhi. Here the sthani doshas are Pitta, Kapha and Ashrumargas, Vayu. Diseases of the Ashrumargas are also very common, not very rare. Two Sandhis, that means the Drishti Krishna Sandhi and Krishna Shukla Sandhi are not generally considered because they are treated all. In one case there are no specific diseases. In the Shukla Krishna Sandhi it is treated as vatma roga only. The Vyadhi Dravyas here are Tvak, Rakta, Mamsa and Kleda. And you can treat it almost like vatma rogas. Don't bother about this. This is a textual list of diseases. The common lakshanas of Sandhi rogas are Srava, many types of Srava. Again, the type of Srava will give you a valid clues about the dosha. Vrana. There are certain types of vrana which is happening in the Sandhi, especially in the Vatma Sandhi. Kandu, Klinnata of the Vatma in general. I will show the pictures. Shobham and Krimi. These are again possible in Sandhigata rogas. You see this one. I hope it is clear. You see the kleda accumulated in this area. Right. This is another picture with plenty of kleda in it. And the Srava, Jalavat in Vada, Shveda Pichila Bahala in Kapha, Tamra Bahu Ushnam in Rakta and Pitta, Sasra Puyam in Sarakta Sanjiva. This will be the Srava Visheshas that we find very commonly in Sandhigata rogas. Now coming to the management, the procedures will be almost the same, but the target will be little bit different. Svedanam, same procedure, and Kandu and Ruk are the targets. Kshalanam will relieve the Kandu and the Karshana. You can use many Kashayas for Kshalanam. Everyone knows Tribhala, isn't it? Then you can add little bit Haridra into it. You can add Chinchavatram into it. You can add Nimbavatram to it. Many mild modifications based on your basic knowledge of Vrana Chikitsa will work here also. In the same way. Then Pratisaranam. Pratisaranam is done sometimes. Some Lepanam is done, which is little bit painful, but that will permit many doshas to flow out of the eye. And very easy also. And it has got Shamana property as well. Especially in Kleda Yukta Shobha. Pradisarana Dravyas like maybe Tribhala itself you can use with a properly prepared with the kashayam, or you can use certain dangerous things or like a little bit of saindhavam into it, will give excellent pradisarana, but it is very burning. And some anjanas are also there, some rasakriyas will give you excellent pradisarana of the doshas. Then sekam in shobham, ruk and daham, and that can be roganam as well. This sekam can be roganam as well. Lekhanam is also done in some cases. You see this case, it is there in the vatma shukla sandhi actually. It was a very bad case, a young boy, in which we did the lekhanam, and he improved very well. See this case again. It is all over the vatma and vatma shukla sandhi. See that picture. So these are very easily and effectively treated with that classical tools. In some cases we need these procedures like lekhana. Now with this same way we will see what we can do in diseases of Shukla Mandala. Sthani dosham is kabham in Shukla Mandala. It is kabham, and the vyadhi dravyas are tvak, rakta and asti. Here the rakta has got a crucial role. We will find many symptoms related to rakta. Sirajalam, siraharsham, sirolpadam, sirapitaka, many things. Yeah, this is the long list. The primary dosha Drishti will be limited to the tvak, but slowly it proceeds to the deeper level, like happening in the case of Vada Shonita. It has got an Uttana Avastha and a Gambhira Avastha. Same thing happens here also. Sometimes it may be very superficial, but later it reaches to the level of Asti in that sthana, causing even structural damage to the eyeball. It is to be taken care of seriously. Kapha can cause various types of growths. Arman is the best example, if I say as a whole. Then Vada can cause rukshata. This has become very frequent these days due to the increased exposure to screens and everything. Shushkata, rukshata type of things on the Shukla Mandalam is so common. Pitta causes daha. They work together. Vayu and Pitta many times work together. And raga also. And then what point of time the person will not be able to expose his eyes to light. That sort of a severe presentation can happen. Yeah, armas are supposed to be the most common thing as far as the Shleshma is concerned. Whatever the type of arma is, the basic mechanism is Kapha-Dushti. Basic mechanism. And other aspects associated with the Kapha will be defining whether it is a Shonita arma, whether it is a Prasthayani arma, Adhimamsa arma type of things. You see, this is a beginning, early stage. Find it here. It is the arma. Here also we can find it is progressing towards the Krishna Mandala. See, this is a full blown one. The entire area is covered. It's an advanced, strong, very thick arma. So this is a surgical case. I don't find this can be treated with medicines. I have not seen it is getting reversed with the medicines. But the previous pictures, they can be managed to a good extent with the Anjana and other basic medicines. This red streaks of blood vessels seen in the Shukla Mandala, it's very common and it's quite scary also. That could be the one which takes the patient to the specialist many a times. There are red streaks. Sometimes others might have noticed he may not be having any symptom. Sometimes he may be having some irritation, some foreign body sensation and some mild prakasha akshamata. That sort of things may be there. See this case now. You can find plenty of that siras accumulated in the Shukla mandala. See here, this further dense, and this I have already explained in the Shukla mandala. It can advance to the asti, causing damage to the structure itself. See again, this is a pitaka. This is again a Rakta Sravam. This is also Rakta Sravam. Then coming to Kabha, it can cause many non-specific swellings in the Shukla mandala. It will be quite scary. See, sometimes when a practitioner who is not seeing these cases regularly, when the patient comes with a puffy eye and when he removes the lids, you will find a bag of water inside it. A bag of water in which this Krishna mandala will be immersed. So it will be quite scary to see initially. See this picture. You can find, no? This area, this one. It is like a bag of water in which the Krishna mandalam is put inside. But this is just a Kabhaja Shobham. Simple Swedanam will relieve it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes time. Not directly onto the Shukla mandala, but onto the Vatma only. Now these are the main things of management in the Shukla mandala rogas. Jaluga is liberally used. Jaluga is used. Swedanam, Vidalagam. Vidalagam, I am doing it in a modified way. We will show you that picture. Asyodanam, Segam are common things. Chedanam in the case of Arma, which we are not practicing. Now coming to the diseases of the Krishna mandala, the remaining photographs I will show later. Here the Sthani dosha is Vada and Vyadhi dravyas are predominantly Tvak and Rakta. Tvak and Rakta are the predominant Vyadhi dravyas. These are the types of diseases explained. Now, Vrana resulting in opacity, that is the challenge in Krishna mandala Vyadhis, causing permanent visual debility. Vrana happens and it develops into Shukla. Then sometimes there may not be Vrana. For some other reason the Shukla may come. In any case it is a threat to the vision. Corneal opacity. And sometimes it may be with pain, sometimes without pain. There are some changes which is happening as a Nija Vyadhi. Need not be Abhighavaja. But slowly it will be becoming opaque. Translucent first, then opaque. Some structural changes may be happening as part of Abhishyata. Generally they are known as Shukla. Savrana Shukla, Avrana Shukla, Shuddha Shukla, like that. See this case. This is the beginning. You can find it, no? Shuklada is slowly developing. The Krishna mandala is becoming hazy. Yeah, here also you can find it. Actually this case was documented to the full extent. Actually this is an Aganduja. I will show its picture later in the chronology. That was case diagnosed as a viral keratitis and treated almost for 1 year in an allopathic hospital. And it was not responding, maybe relieved for 1 week. Next week again it comes. Like that. It was a long case. This was one stage of that particular issue. This is again a different grade of Shuklada. See, this one, it's a hard Shuklada. It's causing severe visual debility. This is a Kshada Shuklam. The case of Kshada Shuklam. Abhigada caused that issue. Here you can find. And the case was reported early, within 1 week or something like that. Not immediately after. And we managed it. In 1 week it became like this. So it was very clearly managed, and the opacity also relieved fully. Yeah, this is that case. This is a case of Agantuja Krishna Mandala Pakam. Yeah, this is the sequence. This is how it came. Then slowly, we also took long time because it was flaring up repeatedly. This with the dates 5/12, 18/1, 18 February, March, April, July. This is September, couple of months back. Now he is clear. So that heals perfectly. Of course, it takes time. The Sarakta Sannipada conditions are very difficult to treat many times, especially when they reach Ayurvedic clinic. It will be very, very late. The structural damage will be already established, and there will be vascularization of the Krishna Mandala, new vessel formation, which challenges the structural integrity of that mandala, and then opacity of deeper size. And it will be marked by severe pain symptoms. Severe pain symptoms. See this case. This is already damaged. We can control the Pagam. But even if the Paga is controlled, I think that the reversal of that structure to its normal condition is almost impossible. See this one. This is all Ajaka type of presentations. Interestingly, this case happened soon after a COVID. So as we discussed yesterday, everything happening after COVID is attributed to COVID. Isn't it? So this is a post-COVID Ajaka. And Shuklam also is there. See, here there is hard Shuklam. Here there is Ajaka type of bulges. See, this is a bulge. This is the Shuklam in it. Many things happened. We could not reverse the condition fully. We controlled the Pagam, but that debility remained. For management of these sort of issues, Shamana Chikitsa, generalized Shamana Chikitsa, not for the eye alone. Vranashobha Chikitsa, Bidalagam, Aschyodanam, Segam, Anjanam, and Rakta Mokshanam, especially with the Jaluga. In the Krishna Mandala rogas, we put Jaluga in the Shukla Krishna Sandhi. Yeah, this is one case of that Jaluga Avacharana. It is done in the Sandhi only, here only. See, this case responded very well. He was having severe Shuklata. You see this case. Severe Shuklata after Krishna Mandalam. So Jaluga is an excellent tool, obviously. Now we will see something about the Drishti Mandala, Drishti Gadarogas, not Drishti Mandala Gadarogas, Drishti Gadarogas. It is a complex formation. As we all know, Drishti is a complex formation. It is not just about the Drishti Mandala, it incorporates the entire Indriya. There are different faculties with the different grades of involvement, which decides the functional integrity of the Drishti. All the three doshas are playing critically in its function. All the three doshas. And Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Medas, Asti, Majja, and Pranavaha Srodhas and Manovaha Srodhas. So almost everything is operating to make the Drishti functional. Then Vyadhi Dravyas are technically known as Padalas. And these Padalas are having the representation of at least 5 dhavus. At least 5 dhavus. Majja is considered as an addition because I think in the Majjagata rogas, Majja Asrita rogas, you find lakshanas related to the netra, isn't it? Generally that is not explained why it is so. Tamapravesham sometimes, Haridra Netrada sometimes, like that. So I think this Majja is performing some very crucial role of nourishing the indriyas. That level of sneha, just giving you a concept or something like a food for thought. These indriyas are considered as a transitional zone between the bhaudika sharira and the manas. We call it the sharira indriya sattva atma samyoga. So indriya is placed in between the sharira and the manas. So they are considered as bhaudika for the sake of treatments, but at the same time they have got direct connection with the manas. That is how they operate. So the finest sneha in the sharira is used for nourishing the indriyas. That is what I would consider. The finest sneha of that type is majja. Beyond that we have shukra, but shukra is of a specific different purpose. And it need not be available all the time as majja is available. So majja is related to the indriya portion as well. So majja, kshayam or vruddhi or any diseases with the majja may be causing indriya related symptoms. Netra being the specific target because it is presenting very quickly, like tamapravesha, like a type of presentations. So majja is also considered the treatment of drishtigata rogas. Visual symptoms are the most striking things. Previously, visual symptoms are happening only when there is opacity. Otherwise, mild photophobia type of things will be the maximum. But here, the predominating feature will be visual symptoms. And they will be progressive generally. Starts with the simple things, but gradually progresses and cause total loss, ending up in blindness. So Timira and Kaja are considered as the classical representatives of Drishtigata roga, even though there are many other things. And pain is not a feature generally. It's very important. There are many conditions where visual symptoms are there, but with pain. But don't think that they are Drishtigata exclusively. There will be some other important. Classically, Drishtigata rogas as such are not painful. Generally, these are the presentations. It's very common. Progressive nature, dimness of vision, floaters, this Keshani, Masagan type of things will be moving in front of the eye, especially when you look at a big wall or the sky. All these things will be moving like this. Flashes and flickers, they are also very common, sometimes very serious as well, indicative of some structural damage. Field defects, will not find certain areas in the field, blackish or greyish type of rims or wedge shaped opacities in the field. Distorted vision, seeing the straight line bent. Double vision, sometimes seeing one thing into two. Day blindness or night blindness. These sort of things are the most common presentations. This is the textual description. The hues of vision, they will tell you about the dosha. It is of two types. Number one, how the patient is feeling. There is a yellowish discoloration wherever I see. That sort of thing. Second, when we examine the eye, the Drishti Mandalam, what we find. So here, this is subjective, what the patient is going to tell. In Vada, there will be a Aruna Varnata. In Pitta, a Neela Varnata. Neelam, indigo or blue type. Kabha, it is Shweta. Rakta, bright red. And Sannivada, Chitra Varnata, Vichitra Varnata. Whereas objectively, when we examine the Drishti Mandala, what we find in the textbook is not the explanation using a focused artificial light, but it is examined in the normal sunshine or something like that. Vada, reddish brown. Pitta, bronze or yellowish or bluish or coppery. Kapha, it is white. Rakta, bright red or black. Sandivada, Chitra. So these color happening in the Drishti mandala is indicative of the dosha sthiti. And there will be dosha specific features. In Vada, you will find broken images. When you look at a tube light, it may be broken halfway through. And difficulty to judge the depth. When you go through this staircase, you won't understand the depth of the second stair. That sort of issue. The judging between the distance of our car and the car in front, that sort of things can happen. And less illuminated patches in the visual field, which we will come to, and flashes. Now regarding Pitta, there may be immediate loss of vision which may get corrected spontaneously. In short interval, Tama Pravesham type of thing, which will come back easily. Flickering of lights, halos or auras behind the object, and day blindness. Sometimes reversible, sometimes not. Regarding Kapha, clouds, cloudy feeling, oily vision, as if we are seeing through an oil. Small objects cannot be seen properly. And the floor, sometimes where we walk, looks water spilled. And night blindness. Rakta, all the images will be smoky. Sannipada, scattered images, distortions of various types, and there can be progressive, permanent blindness, night blindness. And later it will develop into Linganasha, where everything ends in total loss of vision. In Vada, you can find the Drishti mandala as reddish brown with a distorted shape. In Pitta, there will be dark blue Drishti mandala. In Kapha, pearly white. And in Rakta, bright red or black. And Srodo Drishti that is happening in Drishtigata roga is to be considered seriously. Especially the Pranavaha Srodas and the Manovaha Srodas. From the Drishti, whatever sapna is received is to be taken to the buddhi. That principle also should be operating. Then only you will be seeing things. So sometimes the problems with that pranavaha srodas and the manovaha srodas may create symptoms of drishtigata rogas, where the structural integrity of the drishti will not be affected. So you will have to treat on that plane. So in the eye it is somewhat easy because you can examine now all these aspects of the structural integrity. So in spite of a perfect structural integrity of the structure of the avayava, still there are problems with the vision which the patient is not malingering. Then you have to consider this sort of srodo vaidya related to the drishti. And in general, it will be identified late, and so the prognosis need not be that brilliant. Yeah, these are certain distortions what we see. This is normal and this is hazy. This one. Here you are seeing the distant objects clearly, but this person who is in the near, you cannot see it clearly. Right, we call it as long-sightedness. The nearby objects are not seen properly. Here, this spectacle is very near, so it is seen very clearly, but the faraway objects are becoming hazy. This one clearly shows the distortion. The grid in the affected area, you can find it is completely distorted. They are actually similar types of squares. You see, this is that kabhaja type of change in the drishti mandalam. You can see the pearly white thing. This is a bit brownish in the second picture. Here in the drishtigata roga, the challenge is restoration of vision to the best level possible. If not, slow down the disease process at least, and try to give a better quality of vision overall. The general management, what we have discussed so far with various tools, they can be used in Drishtigata rogas as well. But specifically, Nasyam, Tarpanam and Pudabhagam, they gain importance in the case of Drishtigata rogas. I am not going into the details of doing Nasyam, Tarpanam or Pudabhagam, which everybody, it is standard operative procedure only. Now another segment is Sarvakshigata rogas. Here all the three doshas are involved. In Sarvakshigata roga, all the three doshas are involved, and almost all Dushya Visheshas are also operating. Basically, this is a recta-centered mechanism. Because Avishyanda is the basic mechanism in Sarvakshigata roga. It always happens of spinning around the consistency of recta. And pain is a very, very important feature. If you take Abhishyanda and Adhimandha as the representatives of Sarvakshigata roga, the name Adhimandha itself shows the severe pain that the patient is or the individual is having. There will be visual debility, which may end up in permanent loss of vision. It is progressive in nature, and it generates signs and symptoms which need not be confined to the eye. The concept of Abhishyandam represents the Abhishyandam happening in the Sarva Jatrurdha Srodas. All the Srodas of the Jatrurdha. It is not limited to the eye. So the treatment also should be considering these Srodas. That is very important in the selection of procedures. Some Shoshana type of treatments, Rukshana type of treatments like Takradhara or Kashaya Dhara of the Shiras may be required to start with many times. But you cannot continue with the same procedure for long, because then the pain symptoms will start aggravating because of the Adhirukshana and Vadagopa. So a stage specific intervention is required in Sarvakshigata rogas. These are the general pictures. Avila Darshanam, which may initially start with the presentation like Drishtigata roga, but there will be many associated features unlike Drishtigata roga. Gharsham, Sravam, Kantu, Upalepam, Gauravam, Daham, Todam, Malaktada, Shobham, Krichrada, Shirashulam. Shirashulam is always a common feature of Sarvakshigata rogas. Vada will be causing severe pain symptoms. Temporal type of Shirashulam. Puffed up nostrils. There may not be any significant watering symptoms, whereas it can happen in other doshas. And mild restriction of the movements with pain. Feeling like there are insects inside. And bulged out feeling. The patient will, as if my eyes are bulging out. The visual symptoms may be very mild to start with. In Pitta there will be profuse watering. Sravam will be very severe. And red burning eyes. Red burning eyes. Yellow hue seen all around. The patient will see, wherever I look at, there is a yellow hue around. So that will be a Pitta presentation. And swollen eyelids. Eyelids will be swollen with a little bit of bluid discoloration of the lids. Coming to recta, all the features of the Pitta will be there. There will be engorged red blood vessels. And watery will, the tearing will be a little bit coppery in color. Kapha, the standard Kapha presentations, itch, sleepiness, gauravam, numbness, mild pain symptoms, and profuse thick discharge. Adhimandham, the second phase of a Drishtigata roga, as the name indicates, severe pain and the risk of very fast loss of vision. Adhimandham. And the progression may be very fast. In Vata, predominantly pain symptoms, and in Pitta, dark red to brown color of the eye, very striking, and the fall of vision is very sudden. In Kapha, Shobham will be the striking feature. There will be blurring of vision which is not as fast as in the case of Pitta. In the Rakta, all these presentations will be aggravated. Pain management is a big challenge in Sarvakshigata Roga. And restoration of vision is also a big challenge. Allied symptoms, features, difficulties, they are also to be managed effectively. Here, Srodha Shodhanam is very important. Sometimes Rukshanam type of, Shamana type of treatments are also needed. Gandusham is an effective tool, simple but very effective. We can opt for frequent Gandusha, doesn't matter. Because Gandusha has got tremendous capacity to drain the suspended doshas from all the Jatrurdha Srotas. Very easy. What we do is, we make either a combination of Tribhala with something else, and the most commonly practiced one, cannot generalize still, Tribhala with a little bit of Panchakolam and a little bit of Lavanam. Because basically it's a Pratisarana type of combination, Srodha Shodhanam, and very easy to use. So that works very well in many conditions of Abhishendam. Agni and Grahani and Koshtam are to be taken care of very seriously, otherwise you cannot manage a Sarvashigata Roga. And Virechanam should also be practiced on a systematic way. Otherwise, threat of loss of vision is very high. And all the classical Shamana Chikitsa are to be taken care of. General points, these are all common. See, Vegadharanam and Udavarta, if patient is having a history, that is to be corrected. Udavartam is supposed to be one major factor which drives the Pitta associated doshas to the Jatrurdha very easily. So if the patient is having a history of Vegadharana and the resulting Udavarta, that should be addressed. Very basic thing. Then careful, that diagnostic tools I am not going to that details. Netra Chikitsa already explained, has got many things to learn and take from Rana Chikitsa. Many of the approaches are same and the medicines are used interchangeably. We can use most of, for example, this famous Jatyadi Yogam, no? Jatyadi Krita Yogam or Jatyadi Kera Tailam. We use it as Kera Tailam. This can be very easily used as an eye drop. No problem. In Kshata type of things, in Pidaka type of things. We are using this Jatyadi Keram in most of the eye bandages as well, which is classically from the Varna Chikitsa only. Then the Netra Karmas are very important. That is what it makes unique. And there are many common malpractices done in the name of Netra Chikitsa, which we will see. See, Tarpanam is considered as the most common treatment, equating Netra Chikitsa with the Tarpanam. But Tarpanam is to be done only when it is specifically indicated, as in the case of Khridapanam. That Kashayapana Pathyanir Dashaha Idi Lenkhide Sarpir Dadyad Kabhe Mande Vada Pittottare Jware. So that Kabhe Mande Vada Pittottare, that should be the Doshavastha. If it is not the Doshavastha, you have to make it. By doing something, it should be brought to that stage. Then only you can do the Tarpanam effectively. And that gives excellent results. But unfortunately, in the Netra Vikara Sarvashigata Roga related to Prameha, we tend to do Tarpana as the first line of treatment because Tarpana is the one word answer for everything. Similarly, Anjanam also should be done with care. Anjanam can cause damage to the eye if it is not done properly. Especially this Churna Anjanam type of things. Preparation should be proper, application should be proper, Paschat Karmam is also should be proper. The Chalanam after Anjanam is very important. You cannot put it as an eye drop and leave it as such. The proper Chalanam is to be done afterward. Pudavagam is an excellent procedure, but when the Vaidya himself is involving in the making, you can use it in many situations. Even as an independent procedure, it has got excellent capacity to control this Abhishendam. But if it is handed over to somebody else, there is every risk that it will cause some extra problem with the eye. So that should be done with care, but its potential should not be left unused. Vidalagam and Sekam is not properly practiced. Regarding Sekam I already told. Vidalagam again. Vidalagam is very easy and very effective. But it is not properly practiced. It has got a big range of options. And many times it will be applied on the lid and after some time it will not be removed properly. It will get dried and that powder will fall into the eye, making the situation further worse sometimes. So what we do is, I do not know, I will have a photo, I will show it. Then, Jivantyadi Kritam, treating all eye diseases with Jivantyadi Kritam is a fashion in Kerala. I do not know how famous is Jivantyadi Kritam in Maharashtra, but that is not the right way of doing things. Jivantyadi Kritam has excellent potential but specific to certain situations. Then, other diseases of the rogi, they are to be taken care of seriously. Many a times the netra vikaras may be paratantra vikaras. They need not be the swatantra vikara or the pradhana vyadhi. So, pradhana vyadhi should be considered as a pradhana vyadhi and this should be considered as an upadrava. Tesham pradhana prasave prasamaha. Leaving the other problem unattended, you cannot win over the disease problem in the eye. So always take the dosha, dushya, that roga marga, grahani, koshtam, agni, all these things are the fundamentals. And look at them seriously and plan your intervention accordingly. Nayana abhikhadam is also very common. So here the Sadhyovrana Chikitsa is to be taken as the baseline. But the risk also should be taken into consideration. Unlike maybe in a simple abhikhada or a Sadhyovrana on other sides of the body which can be managed in our OP, and a Nayana Vigada cannot be done in the same easiness because the challenge and the risk of loss of vision is very high. So to the best level possible, don't try to manage with some without proper care. These are all pictures of some Nayana Abhighata. There are many conditions which are very frequently reported in our eye OPD, everywhere. Some of them are Paratantra Vyadhis, some of them are Swatantra Vyadhis. So, to give a list of the most frequent conditions, I think this will show you. The refractive errors, short sight, long sight, or those sort of issues, they come very frequently, especially in children. Whether they can be reversed, whether can be minimized, whether we can arrest the progress like that. Then glaucoma. Glaucoma is reported in Ayurvedic clinics once the other system fails. By that time, almost the vision will be lost. Then they say that I have very strong faith in Ayurveda and I am sure that you will save my vision. But by that time almost the patient will be blind. But interestingly, still we can do something. Then another condition is keratoconus. Keratoconus is also, I do not know whether it is a post-COVID keratoconus, but that is also increasing these days. Keratoconus is the bulging of that Krishna mandala, everybody knows. In such cases, I think Krimi-chikitsa is to be done as the baseline because it shows the amount of kledam accumulating in the system. That is why the structural integrity of that Asti Dhatu representing in the eye is getting lost. So that should be taken care of. Krimi-chikitsa will work. Then only you can go for some Vada, Kevala Vada Chikitsa. Diabetic retinopathy. I think if you focus on diabetic retinopathy in the coming years, nothing else is required. Because the diabetes is increasing, diabetic complications are increasing, retinopathy is also part of it. But again, it will be treated initially it will not be diagnosed. Then after one stage, sometimes a sudden Raktasravam happens. Then they go to the nearby hospital. Then there is a flow of interventions. Sometimes starts with eye drop, laser. Then these days the fashion is to inject intravitreal injections of this anti-VEGF factor materials like Avastin, using this type of things. It's not working, but it is the fashion. And the purchase is something like purchasing the sari for the wedding. It ranges from 6,000 to 23,000. So the option is the patient. You can say whichever you can prefer, you can buy. No problem. But nothing works. Again, they will come to the Ayurvedic clinic as a last resort with no vision. And diabetes also will not be under control. But I think we can do something very positively. If it is diagnosed early and started with Ayurvedic care in the beginning itself, Abhishyanda Kleda focused treatment is going to give excellent outcome in diabetic retinopathy. Next is CSR. CSR means central serous retinopathy, which is nothing but a Shobha, a Vadika Shobha. I should say specifically, it's a Vadika Shobha. Vadika Shobha, this happens when the patient is overstressed for some or the other reason. Especially working in odd hours, not sleeping properly, not eating properly, running here and there all the time. Then body decides, okay, let him slow down. And then Vadika Shobham happens in the Drishti. This again, nothing can be done in the other system, but we have excellent management which also includes proper rest. But the outcome is excellent. Snehavanam is enough. Vicharana Sneham or Shamana Snehavanam could be the best tool and the easiest tool. It works very well. You may not require even an eye drop. Retinal degenerations are increasing. Sometimes age-related, ARMD is age-related macular degeneration, even otherwise conditions like retinitis pigmentosa or many types of dystrophies, all these things are happening for some reason or the other. And the other area which is getting reported is infections. Bacterial infections are there, but they are better managed easily by antibiotics, so they generally do not report. But the viral infections, I showed that series of pictures. No? Virus infections are causing big threat. But our Kaya Chikitsa based netra Chikitsa works very well. That Sirabhir Urdhvam Prasradaha, that should be never forgotten. Sirabhir Urdhvam Prasradaha. So there should be a Koshta based treatment, Agni based. There is Vidagdha Pitta in the Koshta. That should be taken care of. The other day I was mentioning, give little bit of Avibhatti Churnam as a routine thing in such cases. Take maybe half teaspoon, 3 grams of Avibhatti Churnam morning and evening with the honey after food. Take it for another 1 month. It gives excellent results. Otherwise what happens is there is Vidagdha Pitta in the Koshta. you may redirect the samprapti from the netra to somewhere else. That's all. Samprapti is not, it is just a change in sthana samshraya, not a shamana. So, in all these cases, we should focus on the status of Agni. Pachaka pitta, tatrasthameva pittanam sheshanam api anugraham karodi baladanena. If that is vidagdha, obviously all other pittas will be vidagdha. You can't expect otherwise. Yeah, this is how we are doing the Vidalagam in a modified way. Vidalagam should be done, see, just like Pakshma Pariharena, Aschodanena, Eva, Akshikosalevanam, Tacha Vidalaga Sapnyam. But we'll be putting a ghost piece and it will be done. This is a traditional Kerala style only. We call it as Tari. So this is the way in which we are doing it. It is somewhat easy and convenient. There is no risk of that medicine falling into the vatma kosha. Management of refractive errors, it is, I think it's not needed. I think it is just, we have time. We'll just go through it, that's all. We will not elaborate. This is just as an example, because that is again something which we can do everywhere. And the cases are also increasing. See, these are the base things we have to understand. It is a biological system, whereas eye is considered as a mechanical system or a physical system in modern ophthalmology, like a camera. But it is a biological system, and it has got many innate potentials to correct, given a chance itself. And the role of the mind is very important in the process of seeing. Role of mind. General health and visual health are not separable. This is also very important. General health is very, very crucial in the management of eye diseases. Not all refractive errors can be corrected, but management is possible. In some cases, we can reverse it, we can correct it. Similar line of management for all sorts of refractive error is sufficient, because the dosha sthiti is almost same. They may call it as, okay, this is hypermetropia, this is myopia, this is astigmatism. Basic dosha sthiti is same. So almost same treatment procedure or methodology can be adopted in all these things. The concepts which we have discussed so far is applicable here also. The treatment should always include internal medicines, kriyakrama, eye exercises and lifestyle changes. This is one challenge, because when a child with maybe 6 years is brought with lot of concern by his parents with a refractive error of -3, something like that, we are going to suggest some lifestyle changes. We are, okay, you start coming for a tarpanam, get admitted for 7 days or whatever it is. The mother will be so much concerned, because it is her concern now. The patient, that fellow, will not be concerned at all. It is not at all his priority now. He wants to play outside. Then he is, no, we will tie your eye for next 7 days and we are going to do tarpana. So at that, these are some practical difficulties. It is not at all his priority. You do netra tradanam, that deepa tradanam. While doing the deepa tradanam, full concentration should be on who is going to concentrate on. Maybe the mother may sit and concentrate on the playing. But maybe at the age of 18 or 19, when he is looking for, I want to join the forces or I want to take IPS, then it will be his concern. By that time, mother, you get lost. I have tried. I have tried with this from the age of 6. Then you are not minding. So these are certain practical difficulties in the management of refractive disorders. So all these things, kriyakrama, that lifestyle changes, increase outdoor activities, reduce indoor activities, cut or minimize screen time, sleep early, take your dinner early, get up early and expose yourself to the rising sun. None of these things are going to happen. But these are quite essential. These are quite essential. So general health, Koshta Shuddhi, Agni Diti, consideration of Udavartam, this is very important. You know, we have many kids coming for treatments of refractive errors from the Middle East. Now I think it need not be the Middle East, it is everywhere like this. From the Gulf. There, the child has go to the school by 6:30 or 6:45 or something like that. He will be getting up from the bed by 6:15 or maybe 6:20. Some 10-15 minutes before the college school bus comes. So most probably what happens is in the morning they will not be going to the toilet. Because the school bus is not attached with a toilet. This child is taken right from the bed to the school bus. In between, in the transit, one glass of milk will be pushed inside, that's all. And he'll be coming back maybe some 2 o'clock or something like that. In between, he may have 1 or 2 urges to defecate, but he will not. Either the teacher will not permit. No, you are very naughty, I know, I'm noticing this these days. Because he thinks that this is a way to escape from the class. So practically, I think every child in the Gulf Malayalis, that is what I know at least, are having glasses. Everyone. Very small kids. So this has become, this Vegadharana has become a routine thing in the day-to-day life. Then Rasayanas are very important in the management. Even if you achieve good correction of refractive error, you have to follow up with some Rasayana. Otherwise it will easily come back. Triphala in various types can be used effectively because basically this is considered as a Vadiga Timiram. So Krida preparations with the Chakshushya property. So the classical example is the Triphala is very effective even for long-term use. Triphala Madhu Saktirbhyam, everybody knows. These are the ghee preparations which we use generally for internal use as well as for Tarpanam, Jivandyadi, Padoladi, Jivaniyam, a mix of these things sometimes, Charakwadi type of things. These are the general protocol. Snehapanam, Virejanam, Shirodhara, Nasyam, Tarpanam, Pradimarshanasyam as Dinacharya, Abhyangam as Dinacharya. Not all these things are to be done. This is a menu. This is a menu. You cannot order all these things. Otherwise the child will have to stay in your, in your not restaurant, but hospital. Yeah, this I already explained about the lifestyle changes. Garbhini Charya is very important. The elder son or girl will be having already a thick glass. Then we can put some Garbhini Charya for the when they are planning for the next child. Then Chakshushya Seva. Okay, fine. Special approaches in young children below the age of 5. Treatments are like Tarpanam is difficult and contraindicated. Start with internal medicines and Vihara. Nasya Pradimarsha Ajanma Maranam Shastam. Then special approaches in pathological myopia. There are some dangerous conditions. Will be progressing like anything, causing permanent visual debility. Special care gives good result. At least we can preserve the vision. And the risk of tearing of retina like things can be avoided. We can strengthen it. Then Tarpanam should be done, but it should be done with care. Take care of even the last element of Abhishenda, then only do Tarpanam. Otherwise there is a risk of some Shobha developing out of it. Takradhara, which I have already mentioned, is very effective in progressive myopia as well. Pudavagam. Sometimes we do the Pudavaga first and then Tarpanam. That option is also there. Virejana Nasya need to be done with great care. Otherwise there is a risk of some detachment of the retina. Especially Shodhana type of Tikshna Nasyas should be done with great care in pathological myopia. Shirovasti and Shirodhara can be done in most of the cases of such severity. Young adults are to be taken care of easily because we can avoid complications in their future life. Yeah, certain examples. Ksheerabala, Vadashini type of thing. Tarpanam twice a year in 6 months gap. Daily Abhyangam, daily Nasyam, eye exercise is a good package for young patients with high myopia. Tarpanam generally done for 7 days in a course. And outdoor activities and relaxation should be encouraged. Now this screen time is also to be specified with the importance. So this is what I have got to say to a, as I told, to a assorted type of listeners about netra chikitsa. I do understand that it was not very successful, not the treatment but the presentation, because it is so complex, so technically centered. But still I think this is what we can do. There are some commonalities in the treatment program. The basic thing is to understand what netra is, what is the role of each dosha, what is the role of each dhatu, and also see the significance of Jatrurdha Srotas as a whole, and always understand that netra rogas are always connected with the Devyavinogi Hannabhyo Radho Madhyodnu Samshraya, then Vyayama Dushvanastaikshnya Dahidajarana Davi Koshta Shagasti Marmani Drudatvan Marudasya Doshayambi. All these things are to be always in our mind. Nidana Veda Doshana Kupidastena Megada Kurvanti Vidhan Vyadi Shakha Koshasti Sandishu. None of these things are to be forgotten when you get graduated or post-graduated in Shalakirandra. Everything is basic, interventions are specific, and do it with care. That is all what I have to say. Thank you very much.
ചിക്കു കുഴപ്പമില്ലല്ലോ, കുറച്ചും കൂടി വാങ്ങിക്കൂടെ? തീരും കേട്ടോ. തീരെ പറ്റാണ്ടാവുമ്പോൾ എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞോളൂ, ഞാൻ ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യാം കേട്ടോ. എനിക്കറിയാൻ വേന എടുക്കുന്നുണ്ടെന്ന്. ചിക്കു പറ്റാണ്ട് ചെയ്യാം പറ്റില്ലേ? വെരി ഗുഡ്. ഇപ്പം കഴിയും.
കണ്ണ് കടിക്കണേ,
കണ്ണ് ചോറിലിരുന്നു അല്ലേ? അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു സുഖം കൈ കൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യാറുള്ളത് ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ ചെയ്തു തരുന്നത് അല്ലേ? ഫിനിഷ് ചെയ്തു നമ്മൾ കേട്ടോ. ഒരു മിനിറ്റും കൂടി. ഇപ്പോൾ 1 മിനിറ്റാണ് നമ്മൾ മൊത്തം എടുത്തത്. കഴിഞ്ഞ മതി. സ്മൂത്തായി എടുത്തത് ഇതിൻ്റെ ഉൾഭാഗം കേട്ടോ. പൊങ്ങി നിന്നിരുന്ന എല്ലാം ഞാൻ എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഓഹോ, സ്മൂത്ത്. പഞ്ഞി ഓടുന്ന അറിയുന്നില്ല. ഇത് പഞ്ഞി ഓടുമ്പോൾ ഭയങ്കര റഫായിട്ടുള്ള റോട്ടിൽ കൂടെ പോണ പോലെയായിരുന്നു. വീട്ടിൽ ചെന്നിട്ട് ചെയ്തേക്കരുത് ഇതുപോലെ കേട്ടാ. ഇത് കൊള്ളാമെന്ന് വെച്ചിട്ട്. ടോർച്ചടിക്കുന്നു.